Treasury Star Parade. Produced under the personal direction of William A. Beecher, with Miss Helena Courtauld, David Brookman and his orchestra and chorus, and Vincent Price as our master of ceremonies.
This is Vincent Price, ladies and gentlemen, in another of the series brought to you by the Treasury Department. My duties today are simple and a privilege. I wish to introduce Miss Helena Courtauld, the young Chinese authoress whose book, I've Come a Long Way, has become a bestseller. Miss Courtauld, born in Macau, China, educated in Lingnan University and the University of Shanghai, is well fitted to speak for the incomparably brave women of New China in Violet Atkins' radio drama, Sacrifice for Victory.
Arise, arise. Men and women of America, hear the music of the New China, the march of the volunteers for the fight answer of free China to aggressor Japan. Long ago, a Chinese poet wrote,
"When a son is born, let him sleep in a bed. Dress him in fine clothes. Give him jewels to play with.
When a daughter is born, let her sleep on the ground. Wrap her in common wrappings. Give her broken tiles to play with."
They bound our feet. They silenced our tongues.
but today our voices are free.
Many hearts with one mind, brave the enemy's gunfire.
Hear them, the women of China. Once it was the men of China who fought all the battles. Today, their women fight beside them. Tireless, undaunted, singing, they march over roads pitted with Japanese bombs, through built homes and schools and factories to keep the new China alive.
We carried the tools of bombed factories on our backs.
Lathes, punches, presses, and molds to make bullets.
Looms, spindles, and distaffs to make cloth.
Sewing machines to make uniforms.
Books from ruined universities to teach the young.
Brave the enemy's gunfire.
I buried my daughter beside the road and marched on.
I bore a child beside the road and marched on.
Yes, they march on, brave, enduring, patient. Weary mothers and fathers plod on, mile after mile, hungry, often ill, whipped by fear of bombs and a haunting specter of starvation, and that more terrible fear of being separated from their young. For China is so vast, and families flee in endless roads. Often a family starts out with many children and comes finally to the end of the journey with one. Hear Sulan's story of her little sister.
We had many wounded soldiers in our village. When we were warned that the Japanese were coming, each farmer took a wounded soldier on his back. The women carried food and drugs and blankets. The little ones had to walk. All over those sad roads, you could hear the little ones crying.
Carry me. Please carry me. Wait for me, Mother. Father, wait for me. I'm so tired.
My little sister was only 5.
Sulan, carry me. Please carry me.
If you cannot walk, little one, we must leave you behind.
No, Father. I will walk. I promise. Do not leave me behind. Please do not leave me behind.
My father didn't mean it. He loved her dearly, but we were each already loaded with our burdens. But then darkness came, and the planes and the bombs began to fall. The children were screaming and running everywhere from the diving planes and the explosions. I couldn't see my little sister, but I could hear her screaming.
Mother!
It was dark. my father fell with the wounded soldier on his back, and I couldn't find my little sister.
Suffer little children to come unto me, said the great teacher, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. And all over China, orphanages are being made to care for these small, lost victims of Japan's cruelty. I pray that some kind soul found the little frightened sister of Sulan and took her perhaps to one of the new life orphanages of Madame Chiang Kai-shek, or one of the great camps of Madame Li Han-Yun, or even to one of those other orphanages dug out of the caves, out of the cliffs by the hands of the women of China. They are brave, these women. See them now in a small occupied village where the Japanese brought opium in their army trucks to weaken civilian morale. The men proved easy victims, so the women of the village went in a body to the gambling houses where the men were playing mahjong and smoking opium. An old peasant woman spoke timidly at first.
We need help to harvest the crops.
Go home to your kitchens where you belong. This is no place for women.
This is no place for men who should be working for China. You're too old to fight, but you can till the soil. You smoke Japanese opium and gamble away the money we need for food.
If you do not go home, we will beat you. You lose face coming to the gambling houses.
You have already lost face. You have lost manhood. We do not want to be slaves of the Japanese devils, but they've made slaves of you men with their opium. You're traitors, stabbing our army in the back.
Go home, I say.
Oh, he beat the old mother. Investigate. Take away
the money. Blows cannot frighten us. Our men again till the fields. There can be no victory without sacrifice.
No victory without sacrifice. That is the motto of Chinese women today. It's written on their mourning bands, buried in the dust of their ruined homes, blown in the plumes of smoke from burning universities. Thousands of our students rolled their beddings with their textbooks inside, covered them with oilcloth and started on foot for the limestone caves nearly 1,000 miles to the southwest. But many did not escape the Japanese. Listen to Ah Wei. She was a student in Nanking.
They bombed our college to bits. Our research building was new, all glass. They smashed it like an eggshell. The Japanese ordered the girls to line up. Our old history professor begged them to spare us.
You cannot do this.
We do as we wish, old man. Are these all the girl students?
Yes.
You lied! There are 300 listed. They have been honored by being chosen to serve the Emperor's soldiers. There are only 50 here. Where are the others?
There are no others.
Perhaps this bayonet will help you remember. Take these girls to the men's quarters.
Don't touch me! Let me go!
That is the Japanese way. Out of 300 girls, only 120 escaped. You think these are hot facts? Then listen. Here is a captive Chinese woman, weeping as she unwinds the bandages of her bound feet and slips them over the head of the sleeping Japanese officer who violated her.
Sleep. A long, long sleep. For you'll never dishonor another Chinese woman.
Her weeping stops short. She stiffens in terror as he stirs. Tightens the noose as he tries to scream out. Early in the dawn, the villagers found her limp body hanging from the tree before her husband's house.
She killed a Japanese officer.
But took her own life rather than bear a Japanese child.
No victory without sacrifice. Listen to an old woman of Nanking. After the last bomb has been dropped and the dead are left to the living.
Old mother, come away. It does no good to stay.
I know. They are all dead. All who belong to me. My daughter there. Her son. All three. See? This one was 8. This 10. This one 15. They will not breathe again. Nor speak, nor walk, nor run. But I shall do all the things they would have done. 1,000 men shall take the place of each, and I shall teach how they must harry those who murdered these. We will live in marshes, swamps, trees, where the nightingales sang before the bombs came.
And these things came to pass. 30,000 men she trained. 30,000 men came at the beckoning of a 60-year-old Chinese woman. These became her boys.
They cannot stop us, and one day they will no longer try.
We will be the air they breathe,
The sod they walk on, the silent voices they cannot hear.
The echo of our footsteps in the night will be their blight.
We will be all about them, and one day we will strangle them with the dust of those whom they strangled.
For we are the voices of the dead they slaughtered, the women they enslaved, the children driven mad.
We are the guerrilla fighters, the invisible army marching from the sea to the mountains of the west.
How many? How many of you for one of these who lie here dead?
Aye!
Aye! Aye!
All of you silent, suffering women of China, in whose womb has so long rested the silence of grief, your voices shall be reborn. Yours was a good world before the enemy came, a world of men and women and children, families, bound together with all the good times. The dark history of this time is but a moment, which shall pass, and in its own darkness, and light will come again.
People of America, our allies in China need our help. We will extend that help. Women of China, our war bonds and war saving stamps will help buy peace and liberty for you and for all the women of the world. Women of America, meet your war bond quota call. Invest at least 10% of your family's total income in United States war savings bonds. At least 10%. More if you can.